What's the biggest freebie you've ever received? That question is like a rusty key, effortlessly unlocking people's endless fascination with that glittering, golden world. To the average person, it might mean a lavish buffet, a ticket to a sold-out show, or, if you're really pushing it, a hotel suite with a view of the city's twinkling skyline. But when you climb to the top of the food chain, becoming a walking goldmine in the eyes of a casino, you realize that free hospitality transcends material wealth or money. It becomes a psychological narcotic, an invisible shackle woven from the threads of ultimate luxury. Once, a casino handed me $1 million in cash, just as a gesture of their hospitality. When I say this, it always comes out with a casual absurdity. People's reactions are predictable. Shock, then skepticism, followed by a silence tinged with envy and confusion. You must have cleaned out the house, they assume, trying to rationalize this unimaginable generosity with logic they can grasp. They think it's a reward, a nod to my supposed triumphs. But the truth is the exact opposite. It's not because I won big. It's because I lost enough, or more precisely, because the casino was convinced I'd lose even more in the future. That night is still vivid, like a scene from a movie. I wasn't in the bustling casino hall, but in a private lounge on the top floor of the hotel, accessible only by a special keycard. No gaming tables, no slot machines, just plush Italian sofas and a wall of floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing Las Vegas's never-fading neon glow. My dedicated host, a man named Vincent with a perpetual professional smile and eyes as sharp as a hawk's, didn't talk about the next game's strategy or ask if I needed entertainment arranged. He simply slid a black carbon fiber briefcase across the coffee table and said, almost offhandedly, "A little token of our appreciation. We hope you enjoy your time here." I opened the case. No foam padding, no fancy packaging. Just stacks of $100 bills, neatly bundled with bank bands, like green bricks perfectly aligned. $1 million in cash, lying there naked, exuding the distinct smell of ink and paper. In that moment, I felt no ecstasy, no thrill of victory, just a chill creeping up from deep within. Because I knew better than anyone. This wasn't a gift. It was a weight, a heavy anchor designed to tip the scales of my rationality. The casino wasn't giving me money. They were buying my time, my loyalty, and every irrational decision I'd make next. They were telling me in the most primal, blunt way possible, "You belong here. Your value lies at the gaming table where you'll lose this million and everything else you own back to us." They'd given me wild things before, far beyond just simple cash. The casino's logic is that for guests at our level, the thrill of money dulls over time. When your wins and losses are measured in millions, cash becomes just a number. They need something deeper, something that pierces your psychological defenses. Unique, priceless experiences that money can't buy. They once offered me a monkey that could serve drinks at my party for free. It sounds like a ridiculous joke, but it actually happened. It was at a private party I hosted in Las Vegas, held in a sky villa with its own pool and personal butler. A few days before, Vincent had asked, cryptically, if I wanted any special entertainment for the event. I jokingly said, "Unless you can get me a monkey that pours drinks." I thought he'd laugh it off. But 2 days later, a capuchin monkey in a custom tuxedo and white gloves showed up at my villa, accompanied by a professional trainer. It was well-mannered, expertly filling guests' champagne flutes. "You want a monkey? We'll get you a monkey." Turns out it was from an outsourced company. That casual remark hid the casino's near-omnipotent execution. The message was clear. In this city, if you can dream it, we can make it happen. This anything you want attitude feeds your sense of control and vanity. It makes you feel like you're the master of the universe, untouchable. And when you carry that inflated ego to the gaming table, you're not far from ruin. That monkey was the star of the party. Everyone found it novel and amusing, but I felt an inexplicable sadness. Watching that animal, trained to perform like a clown, its eyes devoid of any spark of its own, I saw my reflection. A puppet dancing on a lavish stage, controlled by invisible strings, no longer my own master. Things got even more absurd after that. The casino's creativity seemed boundless, always finding new ways to make you feel unique, specially treated. They know that once your material needs are fully met, the craving for power and psychological thrills becomes your new weakness. You know Las Vegas has a racing team, right? They asked. Want to drive? Last year's Las Vegas racing team car on the Las Vegas track. For any man, that offer is nearly impossible to resist. This wasn't go-karting in some indoor arena or driving a regular sports car. It was a multi-million-dollar, top-tier race car on a professional track, the embodiment of speed and adrenaline. I said, sure. They said, cool. The process was as simple as booking a dinner reservation. No lengthy applications, no rigorous vetting. Vincent made a call and it was done. When I suited up in professional racing gear, strapped into the tight cockpit with the engine's roar vibrating through my chest, the coach gave me a few quick tips and a go-ahead gesture. The track was cleared just for me, the world reduced to me and this metal beast. The feeling of controlling that extreme speed, teetering on the edge of disaster with every turn, unleashed a flood of adrenaline. What if I crash? I asked in the midst of that euphoric high. Vincent's response blew my mind. We've got it covered, they said. Those 4 words hit harder than any drug. The message was, here, you don't answer for consequences. You can indulge, push boundaries because we make the rules and clean up the mess. They said, it's all covered unless you get hurt. Then you're on your own for medical bills. That addendum was the cherry on top. They'd take on all the financial risk, but your personal safety? That's on you. It's a brilliant psychological ploy. On one hand, it makes you feel like royalty, as if your enjoyment matters more than a multimillion-dollar car. On the other, the medical bill caveat keeps just enough fear in you to prevent you from going so far as to kill yourself. This seemingly contradictory setup is the essence of the casino's risk management. They don't care if you wreck things, those are just numbers on a balance sheet. What they fear is you going completely off the rails, causing irreparable damage like dying. A dead gambler is worthless to them. They let us run wild, and in the end, both cars were totaled. No one held us accountable. I didn't sign a single document. My fellow high roller and I went nuts on the track. In a high-speed chase, we misjudged a turn, collided, and both multimillion-dollar cars ended up as heaps of scrap. As we climbed out of the cockpits, shaken but unharmed, Vincent and the racing team rushed over, asking if we were okay, showing no trace of regret for the destroyed cars. It was as if we'd wrecked toys, not priceless machines. The whole time, I didn't sign a single waiver or liability form. This no-consequences privilege was the throne the casino built for us, making us believe we were above all rules. And that belief follows you to the gaming table. If you can wreck a race car with no repercussions, what's losing a few million? Just another consequence-free game. That's the casino's darkest trick, creating a real-world illusion of no consequences to numb your sense of risk at the tables. Is it because you lost big or won big? That question cuts to the core of how casinos operate. People assume only a gambling god who keeps winning gets this kind of treatment. That's a Hollywood myth. In the casino's dictionary, a good guest is defined by one metric: effective betting amount. The longer you play, the bigger your bets, the more valuable you are. Winning or losing, secondary. Someone who bets $1 million per visit and walks away with 100 grand is far more valuable than someone who bets 10 grand and loses it all. The former generates more action, contributes more to the casino's rake, and proves they have the capital and guts to keep playing. No, I won by asking for the race car, I'd say, not entirely joking. In that moment, I felt like I'd won. I made an outrageous demand of this wealth-devouring empire, and they delivered. It gave me the illusion I could control the system. But in hindsight, was that really a win? I just leapt into another trap they'd tailored for me. Those wrecked race cars planted a seed of arrogance and fearlessness in me. A seed that would sprout in some late-night, high-stakes game, leading to my most fatal decision. Now they'll pull me into the building, but if you're there and don't gamble, that's fine too. That's another layer of the casino's hospitality system. Once your value is established, they don't even rush you to the tables. They'll do everything to keep you in their world as long as possible. Best restaurants, top shows, exclusive golf outings. They make you feel like this isn't a casino but a private resort built just for you. They understand sunk cost psychology. When you've spent enough time there, enjoyed enough perks, you feel indebted, compelled to do something. And in that environment, the only outlet for that urge is the gaming table. For them, the risk is worth it. The casino's business is, at its core, a game of probabilities and actuarial science, But for top-tier clients like us, they play a far more complex game of human nature and psychology. They calculate, let this guy win 10 million. From his doorstep to the private jet, from the jet to our doorstep to the race cars, the total cost is 1 million. The casino's number crunchers know this better than anyone. Every expense, from the stretch limo at your house to the private jet to Vegas to the insane race cars and parties, is meticulously tracked as client retention costs. These costs are tied to your theoretical loss, a cold mathematical formula. Average bet size times hours played times the casino's edge in the game. Say you're a baccarat player, betting $100,000 per hand, playing for 10 hours with the casino's edge at about 1.2%. Your theoretical loss is staggering. The casino sets a hospitality budget, typically 10 to 20% of that figure. If they expect you to lose 10 million, they're willing to spend 1 to 2 million on you. They say, fine, let him win 11 million, 10 million in winnings plus $1 million in perks. But if he loses one game, he could lose 15 million. That's the casino's real math. A high roller's value isn't just what they lose this time, it's the bigger, longer-term picture. Let's break down their math. First, that $1 million hospitality cost isn't wasted. Private jets, luxury suites, gourmet dinners, racing experiences, these create a powerful PR effect. When word spreads that a casino treated a guest to something unbelievable, their brand becomes legendary, drawing more dream-chasing tycoons. Second, it's a calculated investment. They spend $1 million betting you'll bring in far more. When you're immersed in their emperor-like fantasy, your gambling becomes emotional, irrational. You might chase losses to save face or, after a winning streak, bet everything in overconfident hubris. Either way, your bets skyrocket, and as long as you keep playing, the law of large numbers ensures the casino wins. They don't care if you win 10 or 20 million. As long as you crave this lifestyle, you'll return. And next time, you might lose 30 or 50 million. As the brutal math shows, one bad loss can wipe out all your gains. You could win 10 times, but one reckless game can erase it all. That's the dark truth casinos don't want you to know. Those generous freebies, those king-like privileges are meticulously calculated bait. They're not rewards for your success. They're traps leading to your downfall. They give you $1 million in cash to make you forget money's value. They give you a drink-pouring monkey to drown you in absurd superiority. They let you wreck $1 million cars with no consequences to destroy your last shred of respect for risk. Step by step, they strip away the rationality, caution, and financial sense of a normal person, molding you into their ideal gambler. An emotional, overconfident, reckless betting machine. Your personal host plays a pivotal role in this. They're not your friend or your buddy, they're master manipulators. They know your family's birthdays, your hobbies, your recent business wins or losses. When you're riding high, they amplify your joy, making the casino feel like the perfect place to celebrate. When you're down, they're there with comfort, making you think it's your only refuge. I've seen people like Vincent take your 3 a.m. call and arrange a spur-of-the-moment trip because you're feeling low. After a big loss, they'll pat your shoulder, saying, "Money comes and goes, happiness matters most." Then quietly slide more chips your way. Their meticulous care and seeming sincerity build an emotional bond so strong that leaving feels like betraying a friend. You might even feel that not gambling would let down all they've done for you. It's a terrifying emotional hijacking. The casino's environment is part of this dark system. Ever notice there are no windows or clocks? They want you to lose track of time. In that isolated bubble, day and night blur, and your only reference is the chips on the table. They pump in specially formulated scents to relax you, lowering your guard. The carpet's intricate patterns slow your steps, drawing your eyes to the gambling machines. Slot machines play a orchestrated symphony. Triumphant, loud jingles for wins that echo through the hall, creating an everyone's winning vibe, while losing sounds are soft and fleeting, drowned out by ambient noise. It all subtly manipulates your subconscious, convincing you that the next big win is just one bet away. The deeper darkness lies in how they redefine value. In this world, your worth isn't your character, wisdom, or achievements. It's your bankroll and how much you're willing to risk. I've seen a respected entrepreneur, stripped of chips, coldly escorted out of the VIP room by staff who were fawning over him moments before. I've seen a crude nouveau riche hailed as a hero for shoving millions onto the table. This extreme materialism and warped values infect your soul. You start measuring everything family, friends, by money. You lose interest in life's hard-earned joys because they pale against the instant highs of gambling. You grow isolated, surrounded by opportunists or people who can't understand your world. The higher the casino lifts you, the harder you fall. When your wealth runs dry and your value to them vanishes, the system that worshipped you discards you. The private jets, suites, and glamorous perks disappear overnight. You can't return to the normal world where you pay for coffee. That $1 million cash gift, the tuxedoed monkey, the wrecked race cars, they haunt your memory like ghosts, reminding you of the insane life you lived and the devastating price you paid. So, back to the original question. The biggest hospitality I received wasn't the $1 million or the race car experience. It was the casino showing me, in advance, how wild a person can become at the peak of desire, and how wretchedly they fall from that height. They staged a grand play about human nature with the most expensive props, and I was both the star and the only audience. I won by asking for the race car, but that demand marked my full entry into their grand deception. They seemed to grant my every wish, but in reality, they were quietly chaining me with heavier shackles. That wrecked racetrack was a metaphor for my life, seemingly free to race as I pleased, but the end was always predetermined. The casino, forever standing at the finish line, watches coldly and collects everything. They don't fear your wins, they welcome them, because every victory makes you believe you're special, setting you up for a bigger fall. That's the coldest, darkest truth they'll never tell you, hidden beneath the dazzling neon lights.